Hey guys, so I figured that I would come on here and tell my story, a little bit of background of my experience being a German Shepherd breeder. So it all started probably about 12 years ago. My first breeding pair was West German Show dogs. I got those dogs because I thought that, with raising small kids at the time, that was going to be right and the right fit for me, but it wasn't. I just didn't care for the traits in those dogs that I had. There were some health issues with the dogs themselves. So then I moved into working lawn dogs. I got my first Czech import female. She was a phenomenal dog. Her name was Samba. I ended up with a couple other females. Then in right around Christmas of 2014, I got the female that I consider to be my foundation female and my heart dog, Jenga. She was unlike any other dog I had ever had before in my life. So Jenga, she was also primarily Czech working lines. She had some DDR, East German, just an all-around great dog, stable temperament, everything that you would want in a working German Shepherd. Really stable dog. Nothing, you couldn't face this dog. She would work all day long for you, do anything you ask her to do with her entire heart. She put her entire heart into everything she did. She had higher prey drive, definitely high hunt drive. Really great dog that produced really well for me over the years. She never titled in anything per se. That just wasn't my focus at the time. At the time that I had her, I had my twin sons. They were babies. They were born premature at 24 weeks. Then so I was in the NICU with them, and then 18 months later I had my youngest son. So I was a busy mama. I didn't have all the time to be devoting to titling these dogs. I was just working them, Then she lived to be just shy of 10 years old. What happened to her was kidney failure. What led to that was partially old age and partially due to the food that I was feeding at the time. So that's a part of the reason why I'm so passionate about good balanced nutrition for these working dogs, or dogs period, is because of her and what happened to her. Because I truly believe, had I known better about that food that I was feeding her, she would still be here. So over the years I've had some losses. I've made some mistakes along the way too. It's not been an easy journey, and everything that I tell people now is to try to help somebody new to learn from my mistakes and ultimately to try and help improve the dogs. As far as like health issues that I've encountered in the breed over the years. So before I first started actually breeding these dogs, I had a couple of pet dogs. One dog, he was my very first German Shepherd that I had. He was just a Craigslist special, I guess you could call him. I did actually find him on Craigslist. Somebody was rehoming him on Craigslist, and so I went and picked him up. He was a great dog, but he developed hip dysplasia at a pretty young age. He was only around 4 years old, I think. Yeah, he was 4 years old whenever he developed hip dysplasia. And it wasn't like it was a mild hip dysplasia. It was pretty severe, to the point that even surgery wasn't going to help him. He lived for the next couple of years in some really bad pain. So we did a lot of pain management with the vet. You know, we consulted about a surgery possibility. Ultimately decided that that wasn't the right route for this dog. And at 6 years old, this otherwise perfectly healthy dog, beautiful dog, had to be euthanized because nothing that we were doing to manage his pain was working. Let the train go by. The next health issue that I've had experience with within the breed was the next year after my very first pet dog. Mind you, this was all prior to me breeding. I was still brand new to these dogs, so this was probably 15 years ago at this point. So then I went to try to find a breeder, and I had thought that I found the perfect breeder. They had advertised in the local paper that they had this awesome litter of registered German Shepherd puppies. They were in the next town over from me, so I went and looked at them, and I fell in love with this little black and tan puppy, male puppy, and they were CKC registered puppies. They weren't AKC, they were Continental Kennel Club registered. No health testing, nothing. This was a definitely an unethical backyard breeder. So long story short with him, I didn't know any better. I took this backyard bred puppy home at 6 weeks old because in Kentucky that's legal. So I took him home at 6 weeks. 2 weeks later, at 8 weeks, he wasn't growing, so I took him to my vet, and they said, oh, he's fine. And then the next day, he had a seizure, and I freaked out and took him back to the vet, and they ran a lot of tests and figured out that he had a liver shunt. And then so I contacted the breeder and told her that the puppy that I had just bought 2 weeks prior had a liver shunt and did typical BYB. It's not genetic, which there are cases it can not be genetic, but given the situation and looking back on it now, yeah, it probably was genetic in that case. So then, having those two situations happened to me pretty much back to back. I dove headfirst into learning all about like what makes an ethical breeder. Then, you know, I've never gotten my dogs from anything other than an ethical breeder since, you know, and there are still issues that will happen within so-called ethical breeders. There are still breeders that will fool you into thinking that they're ethical and they're not. There are still health issues that happen even with ethically well-bred dogs. Yeah, that's just the gist of my story. I've lost a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes. And my whole goal in doing all of this is to try and help people learn from everything that I've been through and learn from my pain and help people not have to go through any of that ever again if I can help it. So, yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments.